The Genesis brand has evolved in the last few years, and this evolution is best shown in their keyboard lineup. And in this review we have their best hit in the last few years, the Genesis Thor RX85 Bown, a mechanical gaming keyboard that has a lot to show for its price, which is roughly 75 euros or US dollars if you can find it in stock. For this you get a keyboard that has a unique design and plenty of features to keep you entertained. The Genesis Thor RX85 Bown is the top-of-the-line Genesis keyboard, or at least it was for a few years until now, as it's still being sold all throughout Europe for a decent price. I say decent because while 70 euros is not exactly cheap, you do get a lot for your money when you look at the specifications and features. The design of the Thor RX81 Bown is not simple and has a mix of gaming and modern design mixed elements into it, with a metal plate on the top side which has a brush texture for added detail. It is a great design element that does make the keyboard stand out from the crowd. It has, however, one small downside. This metal plate, thanks to its linear brushing texture, will attract a lot of dust and fingerprints. It's how these brushed textures are, and you will have to live with it. The body of the keyboard is made from a vibrant red plastic and quite a good quality plastic as well. The shape of the casing is also different as it is rounded on the edges to better fit with the aluminum plate installed on the top. Underneath the keyboard we have two simple rubber pads, one applied directly to the plastic body while the other is attached to a swivel pad. The latter is only available in two positions, fully open or fully closed. The wrist rest is magnetic and has a soft texture to make it more comfortable. The magnetic part is simple, you do not need clips or latches to attach the pad to the body of the keyboard, it simply attaches itself once close enough. Other features found within this keyboard is the exclusive usage of Kale Brown mechanical switches, and this keyboard only has those. While a surprising choice for a gaming keyboard which would have benefited from a more linear motion mechanical switch, the Brown switches are a good blend between tactile feedback and lower noise output. The switches have the LEDs installed underneath the casing, as the casing itself is made from clear plastic, which will help with the LED light and color diffusion. The keycaps are made from double injected plastic, with the legends being split into two segments, up and down. The issue here is that the way the keycaps are molded means that the only top legends will actually be light up at night, while the lower legends will not be visible at all. One good feature that is obvious with this keyboard is the large volume dial installed on the upper part of the keyboard casing. This dial will adjust the general volume of your system without needing additional setup, as the system recognizes the dial as the audio dial within the software environment. While turning the dial one way or another will adjust the volume of the sound in your computer, pressing the volume knob will mute everything, and pressing it back again will unmute everything. Quite a neat feature to have on a budget keyboard. The status LED are in their usual location, only a bit towards the left and lower, to accommodate the volume dial of course at the top of the keyboard. These status LEDs are quite interesting in terms of the design. Not only are these white in color, but are round and have a chromed edge to better highlight their position within the keyboard layout. Speaking of layouts and buttons, on the very top of the keyboard we have two additional buttons. The left one will lock the Windows key, while the other will cycle through the LED illumination modes of the keyboard. In terms of the RGB LEDs, this keyboard has plenty of them. All of them, but only on the keycaps and the volume dial. No RGB outside of that, and certainly no RGB around the casing or the metal plate for that matter. The LEDs are bright and will illuminate the inside of the keycaps with ease. The colors are vibrant and the transitions are good for what you'd expect at this price point. You can also fully customize the illumination of the keyboard within the included software, but more on that later. If you don't want to get involved with the software of the keyboard, then you can just use the FN key paired with different keys to alter the illumination speed, direction, intensity or type. Every illumination mode is stored within the keyboard memory, and thus the keyboard does not require its software to be fully functional from the get-go. And now let's see how this keyboard is built, and this means voiding the warranty and fully disassembling the keyboard. For starters, we have to remove the volume dial, and that is easy as you can just pull it out, which reveals the first two screws. With these silver screws removed, you can remove the white tray of the dial and continue on. Holding the metal plate attached to the red plastic body is done with no less than 16 Phillips screws installed in between the keys. Once those are removed, we get to see the PCB of the keyboard and how it's built. Overall, this keyboard is well made, the plastics are in good shape, and the same can be said for the PCB itself, although the soldering quality could have been better in some parts. At the heart of this keyboard is the Vision VS11-K09-A1, a 32-bit ARM Cortex-M10 USB microcontroller which is responsible with the on-bar memory of the keyboard. In essence, this is what keeps your settings saved, as well as the software profiles, the LED patterns and so on. Moving on with the software included with this keyboard, and things are looking alright. Because I've seen this software before and more than likely so have you. It's just your standard keyboard software, but it does its job and works well. It offers everything from LED control to macro key mapping to functions editing and the pulling rate adjustment, which by default is set at 1000 Hz. If you don't like this software, fortunately you don't really need it to use the keyboard, but you do need it if you want to get the most out of your keyboard. From a performance standpoint, things are looking good, as this keyboard has literally no chatter. For those of you that are not aware of what chatter is, it's what happens sometimes with some mechanical keyboards where essentially some keys will register multiple times. However, as you can see here, the Thor RX85 Bown has no such issues even when doing long sessions of fast keystrokes on all keys. The next benchmark is Aqua's key test, which is used to showcase if the keyboard is capable of full NK rollover, and as you can see, the keyboard works perfectly with no issues present within the testing period. For the RGB, the keyboard has predefined profiles and presets, and by default this model will light up in a rainbow pattern which can be changed either through a key combination or via software. The Genesis Thor RX85 Bown is a good keyboard. Not only is it good looking and different, but it has some good and useful features that are often forgotten by some manufacturers. For example, the volume dial is a life changer when you get used to it. The performance is good for a keyboard of this price range. The KL Brown switches are good in both gaming and office work, and they do work fairly well. The overall layout of the keyboard is good, as it is intuitive and the wrist rest is comfortable even after long periods of time. There isn't much to complain here really. Perhaps more switch options, perhaps a detachable USB cable, but those are only features that certain people want and they do not really affect the usage of the keyboard in general. If you like this review, then you might consider subscribing for more, and if you want to support me in a direct way, then in the description below you'll find the links for both the Patreon and the subscriber star pages for this channel.